For this nomenclature video, we're going to talk about some of the easiest to name compounds that exist. We're looking at molecular or covalent compounds in this video. These are compounds made up of non-metals only, which you recall is everything to the right of the stair-step line on the periodic table. This also includes hydrogen, which is usually listed over on the left of the periodic table, but we're talking about just a very few number of elements in this discussion of how to name them. Compounds made up of these elements will be made up of more than one of these elements, but we're going to focus on talking about binary compounds. Binary molecular compounds are compounds that are made up of only two elements. For example, if you are given the formula SO2, this is made up of sulfur and oxygen. We see that these are non-metals. The sulfur is listed first, the oxygen is listed second. There is one sulfur, two oxygens. To name this, I call this sulfur, which is the name of S, dioxide. A couple of things you'll notice in the way that this is named. The first element listed in the formula is simply named. The second element listed is oxygen. I change the ending to "ide," just like in our ionic compounds, so this is oxide. And I have a prefix, di, for the number 2. And that's essentially how we name binary covalent compounds. If I have, and I'm just making up combinations here for the sake of getting a wide variety, if I had, for example, S2O4, all right, notice I do have two sulfurs. I can't just start naming this like I did in the previous one by saying sulfur. What I do is I say, well, there are two sulfurs, so let's say disulfur. Notice I didn't say disulfide, I still called it sulfur. The first element listed is simply the name of the element. All right, I add a prefix simply because there's more than one. When there was only one sulfur, I didn't need the prefix. Now I have my oxide again from oxygen, but there are 4, so I need a prefix that indicates 4. That prefix is tetra. Tetra is the prefix for 4. This is tetraoxide, but we often find it a little uncomfortable to put two short vowels next to each other, and so we will commonly see this as simply sulfur tetroxide. We'll drop off the A from the tetra prefix and just call it tetroxide. So this is disulfur tetroxide. If I have, let's go do again just another example, PCl5. This is phosphorus, this is chlorine. I begin naming this as phosphorus. Watch your spelling. And then I need a prefix for 5 for my chlorine, but I'm not going to say chlorine, I'm going to say chloride because that's the pattern, ide on the second guy. The prefix for 5 is penta, like the Pentagon in Virginia, and so this compound is phosphorus pentachloride. All right, let's do a few more, some that you're familiar with. CO2. C is carbon, O is oxygen, so it's going to be oxide. There are 2 of them. This is carbon dioxide. If I have CO, this is carbon, this is oxide, but the custom is not just to say the second element, but you have to use a prefix with the second element. So this would not be carbon oxide, but carbon. The prefix for 1 is monoxide. Again, we see the 2 short vowels next to each other. It is customary to drop off the O, the mono. Actually, that's not a short vowel, is it? That's a long one. That's okay. It's customary to drop off the vowel, the last vowel of the mono prefix, and just call it monoxide. This is carbon monoxide. All right. We often see the heavier noble gases being involved in covalent compounds. So for example, we might see this compound. This is xenon, this is bromine. I would call this bromide, so this is xenon dibromide. Xenon dibromide. So again, the pattern. Name the first guy. If there's more than one of the first guy, I need a prefix. When I name the second guy, I change the ending to "ide," and I always add a prefix, whether there's one of the second guy or two of the second guy or six of the second guy. I need a prefix on the second guy. I don't need a prefix on the first guy if there's only one, but I do need a prefix on the first guy if there's more than one. Let's go over the prefixes very quickly. 1 is mono, 2 is di, 3 is tri, 4 is tetra, and you can find tables of these. Google them if you need to. These are the prefixes for covalent nomenclature. 5 is penta, 6 is hexa, 7 is hepta, 8 is octa, 9 is nona, and 10 is deca. There are prefixes for numbers higher than this, but at this point in our lives, these will do us. These are the prefixes I always use on the second element. I will use these prefixes on the first element listed if it's more than one. Remember to change the name of the second element so that the ending is "ide." You do need to memorize these. A lot of them are going to be familiar. Mono, 1, 2 di, 3 tri like a tricycle, 4 is tetra. If you haven't done Lewis structures yet, we'll see an overlap there. 5 is penta like the pentagon. 6 is hexa. There's an X in the hexa, just like there's an X in the 6. Hepta comes after hexa, so it's 7. Octa like an octopus. Nona and deca. These are nona begins with an N. That's 9. So these should be memorized or learned so that you can use them in binary covalent nomenclature.